Welcome everybody, hope everybody is having a good time over Christmas and is relaxing. In this video, we're not gonna be doing anything too stressful. We're gonna be taking round 2 at trying out Fleet. Now, earlier this year, I've received an email that it supports C# and I wanted to try it then, but I thought, let's leave it till Christmas. It's gonna be a reunion of opening up this present. Because last time, it wasn't really good. I open it up and it's a pair of socks. Probably even worse. It's just coal. It's just coal. I never got coal, but I felt like I got coal. So let's take a look at what we have in store today. I'm basically gonna take it around through a greenfield project development. I'm just gonna try out, do some things, work in it or not. And maybe we can re-answer the question if Fleet is still going to be the VS Code killer. My name is Anton, welcome to the Raw Coding YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you're enjoying the video, like and subscribe. And go ahead, visit my shop, buy a t-shirt. What are you doing? Now, I'm going to be using JetBrains toolbox to launch Fleet. Here it is. It obviously spawned on my other screen, but this is what it looks like. So from the beginning, I'm not going to have a project to open. So I want to, I want to start clean, and you are going to get the VS Code experience essentially, where I'm going to need, a terminal or something, CD into my workspace and .NET new web application. Let's name it my app. Okay, and that's created. So I don't know if there is anything like Fleet dot. Yeah, I don't even think I have the code command like that. Let me cut the video here and see if something like this is available. And it looks like it's actually possible to do it from the toolbox. So let me go ahead and set that up. Okay, so that setup is done. It was relatively simple. I just had to add the directory to my path, which wasn't there, but it was basically set up, right? So Fleet dot, let's see what happens. Okay, so this opened it up on my other screen, and you can see the screen here updated. So in terms of opening projects from the command line of Fleet itself, the experience is pretty much the same as VS Code. And if I close all the windows, this introductory screen appears, which I guess can still be used as an editor if I open a project, but let's go ahead and try it. Do this from the terminal. So fleet.vs, my app. Looks like that works pretty good. Okay, so we can open project. Pretty cool. So I'll give that 1 point. And now smart mode will have to be enabled. Let's enable it. And we're starting ReSharp service, and there is a solution view. Go, I'll have 1 more point for that. No solution view in VS Code. So this is already, a little bit smarter. Now I do have a solution view, although I did create a project. So do I actually have an SLN file? And this allows me to add new projects. So I cannot open this in my Finder, and all the keybinds are different, so I'm just gonna struggle. But terminal opens in the project. If I cd out, I'm in the workspace. So this is slightly confusing. I have a solution, but I don't have an SLN file. So Fleet is definitely doing something smart here. Now, my first point of interest with Program CS is, can I decompile code? This is primarily why I personally would use Writer over VS Code or Visual Studio with ReSharper. I know with ReSharper you can't decompile it, but Writer just gives you so much better performance. So first of all, let's do hover over build, hover over map get. We're getting really nice documentation being displayed. And if I right click on build, let's go to usages. Okay, so that's the only place where I'm using it. No definitions, type definitions, no type definitions, implementations, nothing. So I don't think there is any decompilation. So I cannot go into build and see what it actually is. With VS Code and Visual Studio out the box, it would be minimal, and you would at least make it to the underlying class to see what is there, but here you don't get anything. So no points there. Now, the last time I covered it, I thought there would be like something like right-click run on here or program cs.run. Maybe it's gonna be in the future. You can see run unit test TBD. So, we're gonna create a test suite and we're gonna try to test a function. We'll see how that goes. But generally, the way I run my applications is I do .NET run, and that just builds it, and pretty much it, right? So let's cancel that. Let's see what the run button looks like. So run HTTP and HTTPS. So this is picking up these ones over here. So this is already, well, let's actually run it. Let's see what happens. Okay, and it opens up the terminal, and I think I quite like this. So what you can see happening here is you see a restoration happen, you see a build happen, and you see the server launch. Now, if you have a regular terminal, if I do .NET run, it will just do this, right? So if I run this, I mean, it's going to be in use. So let's actually stop. Okay, so there is a stop button here. Can I Control-C cancel it? That I don't think that works just as well. So let's close this. So why am I nerding out about that? So we have build and run, okay? So if you do .NET restore, you get the first set of logs, or if you force restore, I don't know if you can force, and then you do .NET build. These are all essentially commands that are replicated from the command line, you know, so basically my appeal with this is that when you're running this HTTPS thing over here, it is showing you how it's executing the command line rather than hiding that all away. I think this is really beneficial to people who are running this. There might be like, where's all this stuff coming from? Well, you can still get all this stuff by running these commands, okay? So I think this is a really good option, like even basically launches it from the terminal. So anyway, that's that. There is also, I've spotted a debugging option, so let's drag this down. You can see I'm not a fan of these pull down and pull ups, right? I have quite high mouse sensitivity on my mouse, so you know, it's very easy to miss this. I don't know how they would fix something like this, but yeah. So anyway, they had the debug option here, so let's try put a breakpoint. So that's pretty cool. Like the whole bar is dedicated to the breakpoint. In other IDs, it's different. Like you can't click on the number sometimes. You gotta click somewhere on the left-hand side. It's a disaster, right? So anyway, breakpoint. Let's see what the debugging experience is. There we go. So process HTTPS, so which process am I attached to? I'm guessing I can attach to multiple processes. With the light theme, you know, it's a little bit hard to see if I'm actually, you know, stopped in a processor. If it wasn't for this window and these variables, it's kind of, you don't get a lot of visual feedback that you've actually stopped in the application run. So in the settings, you can control the theme here. Let's see what it looks, okay. It's pretty nice that it actually just switches it straight up, okay? So Fleet Dark, let's do this. I don't know, not a lot of feedback around that we've actually stopped. So if I resume, you know, it looks exactly the same basically is what I'm saying. So let's relaunch and let's re-hit the breakpoint. Okay, so what kind of information can we get here? App, most of the internals, so data sources, that would be private. The variables view is a little bit lacking. It's very hard to see what's a property, what's a field, and what's static. You can see basically very lengthy type definitions. So like is read only, why is it the full name of the type? And yeah, it's basically, it's just text in a tree view. So it's very hard to distinct what is what and what is where essentially. So this is going to be very hard to navigate. You can add watch variables. So let's try this. Basically, in Writer and Visual Studio, there is also the evaluation window. So if whatever scope you have, you can run your application there. So this is basically like LinkPad. Okay, so let's see if we can, you know, hack around. So we can do things like hello, maybe create a function which produces a number. That looks good. And then we add another watch variable. So, you know, it's basically a scratchpad inside a debugging session, kind of like the Python REPL, all right? But anyway, that's good. So edit watch, you can edit these, you can delete these. Basically, so far, the UI is very responsive. It is very fast. No complaints there. Let's go ahead and actually try writing code. So public class something. I'm getting like no IntelliSense. I'm wondering if anything is broken. So you could get code snippets. Okay, so it's want to say it's slightly delayed. Like you see, if I'm typing and it slowly pops up. So if I'm faster than whatever is trying to load things in the background, it doesn't buffer the keys that I'm typing in as a response to the promise of whatever it's trying to load. So I'm guessing if I do like prop tab, it's not going to do it. I'll have to wait for it to load. Protected prop. Okay, so okay, I'm not sure why it didn't go to the snippet before. Okay, but if I just do prop and tab, yeah, you always basically have to wait for it to finish, and I'm guessing this is where it's communicating with the server. And then the notification. Okay, so will I be able to hide this or get rid of this window? edit. You got a whole thing dedicated to emojis and symbols, but okay, basically you cannot get rid of this notification thing. I don't know why you would need it. I don't like these things. I wish there was an option to disable it. So anyway, we got my class. Let's make it do something, and whatever this is doing something, let's just return number 5. So later we can write a test against this and assert it. And also maybe it will be worth doing something like test over here and seeing if we can debug inside the lambda and how it looks like. So again, let's try inject the HTTP context into here and then output something from my class. So return a new my class, do something. Okay, so you know the code completion is good. What if I dot do something and press tab? If I dot do something, press enter, it's the same thing. If I dot do something space. So usually in Writer you would either replace what is currently there with a tab, or if you want to insert new, you would press enter. That is currently not there. Let's place a breakpoint over here. We will run this in debug. I'm gonna try hit this on the test endpoint here. And we hit the breakpoint. So if we take a look at the context, again, as I said before, it's a little bit hard to see what is where. For example, if we try find the user, let's see what the claims look like. Results. It's very hard to look at this. So, okay, so well, at least the debugger is working. And actually, I've just lost the window. Let's bring up the panel. Where was it? Debug. Okay, so it's very easy to find your way around. Let's see what it does for my class. So for example, because we're not assigning this to a variable, if we do things like, let's say, step into, we're stepping into the function, and this is my class. So the current object that we're in, we can see that. And if we go out, okay, we're still here. In the variables, we cannot see this local my class instance. So that is still missing. If you're in Writer, something like this will show up. So you will be able to see the result of the do function in the variables, and you will be able to see the my class as well in the variables. This isn't currently here. So for the debugging experience, you know, it's not the best, but it is there. Again, let's stop this. I'm not that interested in actually running the application because .NET takes care of that. Refactoring. So renaming symbol, let's say better name. Looks like that is working. I can control click on things. Looks like that is navigating me to places except for decompilation. That's not working. What about if we have a new folder? And I can actually take this class out. So refactor, extract variable. It looks like a wrong option in the context menu. So for example, what if I do this here, extract variable? I don't know why that option is there. That seems completely useless. And I've already forgot that I was keeping a score system. So anyway, I'll say so far, you know, it's looking pretty good. Let's say that this is a new folder and we're gonna take this class. So cut it, new file, my class.cs, and oh, so this is nice. VS Code, I don't think it creates classes like this for you unless you actually have an extension and you get the default using, and it's pretty cool that I think you can actually choose what kind of thing you want here, okay? So we wanted a class, so this is better name. So let's see how renaming works here. Better name, cool. And what if we rename this here? So rename symbol, do something, 22. I don't know if, I think I messed up the renaming there. So better name as I moved it is no longer here. Let's see if we can import things. Importing works, do something, okay, because the symbol was missing. Let's actually move this. Yep, let's rename it again. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Refactor rename. And you can actually see renaming usages. So so in how many places you're actually going to be renaming, and rename difference. So that is pretty cool. So you can actually get the results of your renaming. So if something went completely ballistic, you can have this little, I guess, was this notifications? Disable cross-file change notifications. Okay, so apparently some notifications will be disableable. So maybe preferences. This menu looks awfully similar to VS Code. I don't know if this is a good thing. This is, you know, Microsoft style takeover VS Code users type of thing. So, you know, if you're using VS Code, you want adaptability with Fleet, this is what this is. So I guess it's good for what they're building it. But yeah, data sharing, I guess I would be more interested to see notifications turn off and something like that, but that is currently not there. So anyway, we couldn't extract a class to a file, and creating files was pretty good. Let's go ahead and set up a test. So in the terminal, I am in my app, so I guess I want a test project on the same level. Let's actually reshuffle things a little bit and see how Fleet deals with them. So I'm gonna make a directory in my app, and nothing shows up here, but in here I'll be able to see my app and folder. Okay, so let's just take all of this and shove it into my app. Okay, so that was, have to hold it. Okay. All right, so I know how to move folders, and I will tell you right now that was not the experience that I was looking for. I don't know, I can't describe to you what happened, but moving folders around wasn't easy. So we moved things around. Will we still be able to run the project? It looks like it does, right? It just runs. Okay, cool. So while I'm here, solution, that still works and is recognized even though I just moved it. Usually Visual Studio would explode. I don't know what that bin is doing over there, but let's actually delete all of these. When you have nested folders, it doesn't work too well, but yeah. What I wanted to see is where does it actually create the artifacts when it runs them. So inside the my app, and actually I've put it all into the new folder. Ridiculous. See what I'm saying? So if I want this in my app, how do I bring it out from new folder into my app? But hopefully, yeah, the solution view is still functioning somehow. So anyway, in here, I just have my app. Let's .NET in new. And let me just figure out how to create a test project. XUnit and tests. There we have it. So CSproj. Know if there is any good way for adding dependencies or anything like that. Definitely not from the folders view. So let me open solution, add new project. So I can add a project this way, and there are templates. What if I want to add an existing project? Okay, so that's not working. Let's actually just add a new project into the new folder. Why not? We are gonna do XUnit tests 2, okay? Because we're messing up. Why not? Okay, so put this here. I don't want it here. Let's try again. We're gonna put it into my app instead of new folder. This is going to be tests 3. This is XUnit test project. And this is going to be created on the side here or not. No, it isn't. Let's delete this folder because I don't want it. So yeah, in this case, if you're messing up with folders and you're creating projects left, right, and center, basically solution management isn't there. So whatever point I gave for the solution view, let's take it away because it's not doing what it's meant to be doing, okay? Let me right click on this. Okay, so we got show in Finder, and let's fix this, right? Okay, so after fixing it and restarting, it still didn't manage to load up the solution view. I've basically, in my test, I leveled everything, but I don't have the SLN file. So let's actually set up the SLN file. I managed to set up the solution up, and by the way, I may have noticed that this may be a little bit little or small to look at, and I've accidentally chose the language recognition for my SLN file to be C#, and I no longer know how to change it. So maybe down here? Okay. Can we look for SLN solution? Yeah, I don't know what kind of configuration language this is, but let's go ahead and close this. So we got the two projects in CSproj. Let's go ahead and add an item group and let's see what the editing of this is like. So project reference, and we got dependencies. Can we add a local reference? And recognize this is recognizing that it was probably invalid. You can't do it manually. Projects, it has a folder for projects, but there are no options to do it. And I can't actually remember what you have to type in here. So let me look this up. Okay, so there we go. I think I've managed all right. Unit test 1, if we right click on this, there is no run. Let's try find, what's it called? Go to action and run. Run unit test TBD to be determined. Yeah, there is no way to run unit tests yet. There is no play button on this side. The check mark over here, I don't know what that is, but let's go ahead and see how project references look like. So I had better name, so new better name. Basically, this is a Visual Studio VS Code experience. If you are using Writer, even though you don't have the using statement at the top of the file, you will still be able to find these things that are not part of your current local project. So let's type this out and let's see if we can import this. So better name, did I... this is internal. Okay, so maybe my bad. Let's try this again. Can I be importing this? I can be importing this. Let's try this again. New better name. Okay, there we go. BN. Cool beans. All right, do something 22 var result, and let's say, because we're using xunit, so assert dot all and usings. Okay, so there's a global using there. Let's say equals, let's do result and 5. There is no, oh, there is a warning, quick fixes, no context available solution thing on there. Quick fixes not available. So yeah, basically we are expecting things on the right, you know, super important. Cool, we got that. Let's open up show in terminal. Okay, .NET test. Okay, pretty good. How about if we have something incorrect? We should get an exception. Okay, and we get links over here. So if you have a path, it will take you to somewhere in the file, but not the line. So you can see line 12, but it takes you just to the file. This brings me right over here. Let's say I will throw new exception, wowzer, semicolon on the end. Let's run this. So actually, let's use the run button. That's pretty cool. So I just ran an HTTP, so exception was thrown. Let's come back to Fleet. So we're looking at the exception. This is where it happened, somewhere in program CS, and then you have to manually make your way to 12. So there is path recognition, but it's not sophisticated enough. And if I hold control, yeah, I mean, I don't think this exists in other IDs, but I can't go and navigate to these methods, right? So overall, I'd say for what I wanted to test, this is pretty much it. I think it is pretty good. It is not fully ready. And I'm looking at this now and I'm seeing Git integration, right? So let's take a look at what this looks like. Init Git repository, initialize Git repository. We get a nice little view. We're on the main branch. We can create a branch. I want to see the whole tree view thing. So let's actually try to find it. So git commit, where do we have the commit window? Can we put it over here? Okay, so dragging of windows is pretty good. There's a DS store in that, so this diff view is pretty good, I'd say. Let's see, maybe git show log. What does the log look like? So there is no log yet, so let's actually commit something. So let's say we will add some app settings. Okay, that is going to be our message. So successfully committed 3 files. This is what the log entry looks like, and here are the things that have been committed. I think I committed only 3 files. What is going on here? Okay, I don't know what these things are. This is not what I've committed. I've only committed 3 files. Disgraceful. The disgraceful probably sounds mean, but yeah, the Git UI, Git history, the log, you know, it is manageable for what you would probably want to use it, but it's basically not there. Yeah, I'd probably end this here. No decompilation, bad solution management. The Git UI is on the lacking side as well. Other things that I can think of is the refactoring options were maybe a little bit misleading or, you know, didn't do anything at all. And there is a little bit lack of them, but, you know, it's not feature rich yet. So the notifications, sometimes useful, sometimes not. I would like the option to disable them. I absolutely hate it when these notifications pop up in Visual Studio, in VS Code, whatever. Please update to the latest. The current version's working fine. If I want the new features, I'll get the new thing. Don't worry about it. Don't keep telling me about it. If I want it, I'll get it. I know what I'm doing, I'm an adult. And the last thing that I can think of is when I'm typing, there is a lag between what I want to type and the IntelliSense. So if I press the keybinds in order and whatever is doing things in the background doesn't catch up, the keybinds aren't going to do anything. So I think even though it doesn't show on screen, if I type something and I know it's going to work, I would like it to actually, go out and work. If this is an option, a flag that I need to enable, like enable command buffering or whatever it is, I would like that option there. But I will say this is tons, miles better than what we've seen last year. I think Fleet still needs a little bit of work, but I would say you could actually use this to work. It's pretty smooth experience in terms of the IDE itself. It's very good looking and minimal. I think a lot of people will like this. And for the comment I made at the beginning, is Fleet going to kill VS Code? I think not. VS Code is going to be free. Fleet isn't going to be free. However, Fleet is going to have major integrations with cloud providers, for example, like already enabling IDEs in Google Cloud. And then you have the space integration as well. I'm interested in seeing what Fleet is going to look like in the scenarios of companies. I know a lot of people are using Slack or Teams. Is there going to be integration with those platforms? Can you integrate with those platforms? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they will want to keep it reserved to space. I can see things like taking a link to a file, posting that as a Slack message to somebody. They're opening the link, they're instantly connecting to the code session, they can run a test, debug it, and then disconnect from it. I think in terms of that, if they can streamline that experience of connecting into code sessions straight away, I think that will be really amazing to see. I think this is going to be all for this analysis. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Check out my shop. Big thank you to all of the patrons that are choosing to support me. Your help is very much appreciated. Hope everybody is having a good time off. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.